guys, welcome back to Matt Sign's Garage. And no, that was not clickbait. I really bought this Jeep for $500. $500 flat. It was registered. The guy told us that it had a problem with the alternator, but we drove it back home and the alternator was fine. They replaced it anyways, but I'm still gonna count it as $500. This is my 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I genuinely think that this is the best budget off-road Jeep truck, whatever, that you can buy. Because you can get the XJ, you can get some other stuff, but not for the money you can get this for. And it does everything you need it to do. 4x4, it has the selectable 2-wheel drive to part-time 4-wheel drive, even the low option. The first time we got this, after we did like a little bit of maintenance on it, I took it to Roher Flats, I think. Yeah, Roher Flats. And we basically did the hardest trail that place has to offer, and Jeep made it basically all the way through. It did break on the trail, but it didn't break due to the fact that it can't do the thing. It broke to the fact that, you know, I had an old steering box and we were pretty hard on old girl. So yeah, I have done some mods after that, but it did start with that 500 and it did start and go, and I did take it there. But let me show you what you can do after that 500 bucks that make it even more crazy on the trails. And then yeah, let's take a look around. So we'll start with an informative walk around. So this Jeep comes equipped with the 4.0 straight 6 motor, and these motors have been known to be bulletproof. I bought this with 215,000 miles. It's running and driving perfectly fine. After we took care of everything in the engine, we basically just did like gaskets and stuff like that. We moved on to suspension, wheels, and tires. This is on a 3.5-inch lift from Rough Country. A very basic kit. Didn't cost me much money at all. You know, just a 3.5, came with springs and shocks. And then I replaced all the bushings and all that stuff. Found a cheap set of Steelies on OfferUp with some tires. So altogether that came out to like 500 to 600 bucks as a pair, because I found a good deal. Put a little snorkel, you know, because I'm a fancy boy. Put a light bar. It actually comes in handy a lot more than you think. A lot of people like, you know, make fun of you for having a light bar, but it came in handy a lot. Here's the rear. These are 31.10.5 on 15. One big difference between the ZJ and the XJ is that the XJ has leaf springs and this has an independent shock and spring in the back. Important badging. The back's pretty stock. I actually got really lucky and got the tow package, so that came with everything I needed. Just the other side. It's in a nasty green, boogery color. Paint fading everywhere pretty much, but you know, it's 500 bucks, what do you expect? Did cut the bumper for some more clearance for the wheels. Didn't really need it, but I think it looks pretty cool this way. There you go. And that's broken now. Let's move on to the interior. When I bought it, this interior was even much cleaner than it is now, and it's still pretty clean considering I've taken it to like many trails. Or many times to the trails. And back seats. Came with no headliner, and I actually was completely in love with that. The guy told me, and that was almost a plus for me. Got the basic steering wheel. Everything's over here is clean. A few cracks on the dash, but nothing major. A little aftermarket Bluetooth radio. You can get these for like 30 bucks now, which is crazy. So remember back in the day, it used to be so expensive for like a Bluetooth radio. You have the shifter, and then right here, see, some of these are different. This one has the 2-wheel drive with the 4-wheel part-time, the neutral, and the 4 low. There are some that are always in 4-wheel drive, and then there are some that do a full-time 4-wheel drive as well. Give you a better look at the back seats right here. Lots of trunk space, as you can see. It's my camping storage car sometimes. Another cool thing, and something that I actually really love about this thing, is you can fit a high lift jack straight under the back seat, exactly where, pretty much where your stock jack would go. And I think that's really cool. I think it's super obnoxious when people have them like on their hood or like just in random parts of the car. It's like, why? You know, I like it clean. I don't need people to know I got it on me, but I keep that thing on me, you know. Got an adjustable rear track bar that's going to be installed at some point in time. On the back, I did put in a sway bar, and I did put in longer sway bar links, just because I took one out originally for, you know, for the flex. But after I took it out, I realized I was getting some like really bad freeway conditions, so I did end up getting those right there. And junkyard find, I found the gas tank skid plate. So some of these came with this, some of these came with a tow package, some of these came with nothing. But the gas tank underneath is plastic, so like eventually you kind of want something like that. Snack break. So let me tell you some things I both love and some things I don't like about the ZJ. I definitely think that the pros outweigh the cons, but let me just go ahead and tell you, and then you can decide for yourself. So big pros for me is that it's a little more of an unpopular body, so you can pick them up for much cheaper. They're at the junkyard all the time, so if you're looking for stock parts, there's plenty of stock parts. On the other side of that spectrum is it being an unpopular body. Aftermarket is a little bit less. Of course, there's a lift kit. Of course, you know, there's wheels and tires, of course, but of course there's a bunch of other parts. But you know, like for example, I always check for parts, and I always find a bunch of XJ parts. Like I've been looking for a front bumper for a while, and I can't find that, but you can find it for an XJ no matter what, you know. So there's that. Another thing is there's two engine options. The 4.0 is completely bulletproof, and it's like a real good workhorse motor. But sometimes I just feel like I wish the car was a little faster. I don't know if my engine's just kind of shitty, but it still gets the job done. But you know, I drive like my Genesis, or I drive the Beamers, and maybe it's just slow to me in comparison. I also drive a Prius, but they're zippy. Don't be fooled, you know. Let's see. Another big pro for me is that some of the steering components can be interchangeable between a TJ and an XJ, and a ZJ, and an MJ. So there's a lot of cool parts that you can find if somebody's selling off something else if you do your research. Some of these came with U-joints, which I think is really cool, instead of the CV axle shafts. So if you're lucky enough to get one of those, that's a really cool thing. It has 3 transfer case options, which is nice. You can choose if you want the 4-wheel all the time, which nobody really likes. That's the 249, or you can get the 231 or the 242, and those you can completely selectable. You can go, you know, you can do the rear wheel, or you can do the low. Very good stuff. A few more things is my brother has a Tacoma, and his is a lot smoother on the on the off-road than mine is. Mine's a little more crawly, so depending on what you like, if you like something that's going to be just like Overland and smooth, you might want to go with something like a 4Runner. But if you want something that can honestly do it all, the ZJ is a really great option, especially considering that the ZJ was the more luxurious option. Mine's an old 94, and you know, like mine doesn't have any of the bells and whistles because I didn't really care about that stuff. My buddy has a 98, and his thing is nice. I'm talking about like really nice. You know, he has like much better seats. He has automatic seats, automatic lock, all this stuff, all this cool stuff that, you know, is never in anything cool that you want to drive that's cheap. So you can get that. And then his comes with the matching bumpers. You know, his are like that gray color or whatever. So those are the pros. It's more luxurious. You get some better options. You get a vehicle that's just as capable. It's an argument, but I think it's just as capable. And the only thing you really sacrifice on is the availability of aftermarket parts. But as people continue to mod them, you know, there's more secondhand, and a lot of companies do make the parts. You just have to be willing to pay a little more for quality of the parts. Of course, you can go on eBay and get a bunch of different stuff. Like that light bar on eBay, super worth it. 70 bucks. Psh, never looking back. That thing's helped me so many times. So with everything done, I sit in this car right under 2,000, and I'm really counting everything. I'm counting like repairs, I'm counting mods, I'm counting parts I replaced just because I wanted to. So $500 off-roader, $1,500 into it. Just got a real capable off-roader. In the future, I'm gonna add a locker to the front. I'm gonna add sway bar quick disconnect, a steering box brace because I don't want to break another steering box. You know, and then eventually I'm gonna go bigger lift and bigger tires. But for now, it's working really well because if you go anything bigger than like 32s, 33s, you're gonna want to get a re-gear. I don't want to do that yet. But it'll fit 32s right now, and that's probably what I'll stick with. In the future, we'll be making a lot more videos of us going off-roading. I've been taking it out a lot, but I just never bring a camera, so we don't have much footage of that. But we're going to be doing a lot more stuff for you guys, especially now that we have the channel. You know, bring the camera everywhere, get some cool stuff to go, and you should get a ZJ and join us. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching our videos. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing. We appreciate all of you, all 80 of you. Don't worry, I have a feeling there'll be more. We got some cool stuff to show you guys, and it's only the beginning. So that's my Jeep. That's my 1994 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and that's probably the best budget off-road car that you can buy if you don't want to spend a lot of money.